Hello, my name's Hannah and I'm a storyteller, and I'd like to tell you one of my favourite stories. It's a story from India. Now, in India, there are great big jungles, huge places, and in the jungles, the trees grow really, really tall. Some of the trees grow so tall that it almost looks like they're touching the sky. And in those trees live monkeys. And those monkeys can be very naughty, very cheeky, very mischievous. And this is a story about some very naughty monkeys. The story's called Monkey See, Monkey Do. Once there was a hat maker, a man who made hats, and he was very talented. He made every type of hat you can think of. He made woolly hats with bubbles on top for when the weather got cold. He made sun hats that would shelter your face on a hot sunny day. He made hats covered in fruit. Strange, I know, but some people like them. He made hats covered in flowers, very pretty and great for special occasions. And his hats came in every shape, size, colour you can think of. There were yellow hats, blue hats, red hats. There were even silver and gold hats. One day it was market day, and the hat maker wanted to take all his hats to market. Well, he had to. He needed to sell the hats. And so he got out his cart and loaded in all the hats. He loaded in the woolly hats with the bobbles on top. He loaded in the sun hats. He loaded in the flowery hats and the fruity hats and all those beautiful coloured hats, the yellow, the blue, the silver and gold. All the hats went into his trolley. And when he'd finally loaded up the trolley, off he went to market. Now, to get to market, the hat man had to walk down a very windy, bumpy road. And that road took him through the jungle. And as he walked along the road, it was so nice to be in the jungle because it was a little bit cooler on a very hot day. And he wasn't really looking where he was going. All of a sudden, the cart bumped down into a dip and tipped over, and all the hats rolled out and fell all over the ground. Before the hat maker could pick them up, down from every tree came a monkey. Each monkey picked up a hat, put the hat on its head, and then climbed back up the tree. The hat maker couldn't believe his eyes. All his hats had gone. And when he looked up in the trees, every single monkey was wearing a hat. There was a monkey wearing a woolly hat with a bobble on top. There was a monkey wearing a sun hat. There was a monkey wearing a flowery hat. There was even a monkey wearing a hat covered in fruit, although the monkey was actually quite enjoying eating the fruit. There were yellow hats, blue hats, red hats, gold and silver hats. All his hats were gone. And the hat maker didn't know what to do. He couldn't climb up the trees because the trees were too tall. And even if he could climb up the trees all the way to the top, he wouldn't be able to catch the monkeys because the monkeys were very, very quick. And then he had an idea. He thought, maybe if I ask the monkeys nicely, they might give me my hats back. So he smiled and waved at the monkeys and just called to them, "Monkeys, can I have my hats back, please?" But what a monkey sees, a monkey does. And all the monkeys smiled and waved back at the hat man. They said, in the way that monkeys do. Well, the hat man wasn't very happy. But he thought, I'll try again. So he waved at the monkeys and smiled, and said to them, monkeys, I need my hats back, please. But what a monkey sees, a monkey does, and all the monkeys waved at the hat man and smiled. They said back. Well, the hat maker wasn't very happy. He was quite annoyed. And he looked up at the monkeys and he clapped his hands to get their attention. And he shouted up some, "Oi, monkeys, give me my hats back or there'll be trouble." But what a monkey sees, a monkey does, and all the monkeys clapped their hands and shouted back at the hat man. Well, the hat maker was really angry, and he looked up at the monkeys in the trees and he stomped his foot and he shouted at them, "Give me my hats back or you will be in big trouble." But what a monkey sees, a monkey does, and all the monkeys shouted back at the hat man, stomping their feet. Well, the hat man didn't know what to do. He couldn't get his hats back. So he couldn't go to market and sell his hats. And he tried everything. So he gave up. He took his own hat off his head and threw it down on the ground and started to walk away. Well, what a monkey sees, a monkey does, and all the monkeys took the hats off their heads, threw them to the ground, and went off through the trees. Well, the hat maker couldn't believe his luck. There were all his hats on the ground. So he picked up his cart, and as quickly as he could, he loaded all the hats back into the cart. He loaded in the woolly hat with the bobbles, the sun hat, the hat with the flowers, the hat that used to have fruit on it before the monkey ate all the fruit. He put back in all the coloured hats, the yellow, the blue, the green, the silver and gold hats. They all went back into his cart. And then the hat man got the cart and pushed the cart all the way to market. And that day he sold all his hats. Well, a while later that evening, the hat maker got home and he sat down with his son just to talk about their day and what they'd done. And the hat maker told his son all about the monkeys. "Well, son, when I was walking through the jungle, all my hats fell out of the cart and the monkeys came down and they all stole a hat and I didn't know what to do. But in the end, I took my own hat off my head and I threw it down on the ground and all the monkeys copied me. So I picked up all my hats and went to market." And the hat maker's son absolutely loved that story. And he'd say, "Dad, Dad, Father, tell me the story again. I want to hear the monkey story. Tell me about the monkeys." And so time and time again, the hat maker told his son about those naughty monkeys. Well, time passed and the hat maker's son was taking all the hats to market. So he got out the cart and loaded in all the hats, all those lovely hats. What was it now? Let me think. The woolly hat with a bobble on top, the sun hat, the fruity hat, the flowery hat, all the beautiful coloured hats, the yellow hat, the blue hat, the red hat, and the silver and gold hat. They all went into the cart. And the hat maker's son set off to market, down the windy road with all the bumps, through the trees in the jungle, but he wasn't looking where he was going. And the cart dipped down a hole and tipped over and all the hats fell out. And before the hat maker's son could do anything, the monkeys came down from the trees. Each monkey picked up a hat, put it on its head and climbed back up the trees. But the hat maker's son wasn't worried. He knew what to do. But he thought, "I'll just try it out first." And he smiled and waved at the monkeys and called up to them, "Hello, monkeys." Well, what a monkey sees, a monkey does. And all the monkeys smiled and waved back at the hatmaker's son. They said, in the way that monkeys do. And the hatmaker's son thought, this is so easy. And he took his hat off his head and threw it to the ground and waited. But nothing happened. So he tried again. But nothing happened. And he tried again. He took his hat off his head and threw it down to the ground. But nothing happened. And the hatmaker's son said, I don't understand it. What's happened? And one of the monkeys answered him. You see, they were very special monkeys that could talk. And the monkey said, we're not giving the hats back. We know the story of what happened with the hatmaker and the monkeys last time. And this time we're keeping the hats. And that's the end of the story. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for listening. Bye-bye.